Flame Harmonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two.
Excuse me. Would you mind help?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got...
Everyone's so busy. Seems a...
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have... In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something...
That's all right. We just said...
Very well.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to
All right.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede.
That's right. And we came here to... Do you have any idea what...
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore,
Immersed in primordial seawater? What happened?
most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he... Yes? What is it?
Ah, right. We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so...
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular... The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking...
The water levels rose?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time. And if the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on...
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Oh no! What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's some...
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance.
All right. I'm not young.
He looks pretty sad.
My leg. How could this have happened?
Just hang in there. Help is on the way.
Useless.
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson.
Yes. As you can see.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to...
He's wounded?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he
jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor.
Understood. I'll take over his search.
All right. You'll... I'm sorry. Right. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to the Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible. But there have been a lot. The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater. So the lower levels, no one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now.
How awful. And all of this.
It was quite frightening indeed. I only...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of...
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And out she goes.
Okay. The wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. Of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best to rescue Traveler. Paimon?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you. Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the...
Right. That's... how...
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Maloose and Silver... They won't ever...
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but they were helping evacuate the rest, and... I've known them for so long. I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Maloose and Silver, they're just...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect...
I can understand. Besides,
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I've...
How could Master ever be upset with you, Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have...
buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callan.
Hey, stop.
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other.
That makes sense. In that case...
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us...
Personally, I believe we fit...
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously.
But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip?
I promised to let them rest in peace here. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel.
I had always thought I could make my wishes come true. But Maloose and Silver have helped me. I'm so...
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia.
Thank you. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, so everyone else is...
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Don't think that way, Navia. One person might be saved at the expense of another, sure. Maloose and Silver were not the price for saving anyone.
You're right. What you said just now was pretty amazing.
Oh!
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The name...
Is everything
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of.
Thank you very much.
Wait,
We just met recently. Right.
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. That doesn't... Thanks to the Knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharp.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that.
Without your help, there would have been many...
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. You, as Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves. I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to
You're right. I'm sorry. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people...
So, you're...
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have... By the way, traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
alright, then we'll just...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which, traveler, I'm sure you remember that you and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Indeed. Allow me to share the latest During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming... My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration.
So, that's why the Fatui were...
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they... Which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they can...
Oh! That somehow makes Paimon...
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the...
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to...
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss...
But, are you sure you're up to
Well, I'm sad, yes. There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. Besides, I'm also doing this...
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right? The ruins are to the...
Okay, the three of us will handle it. So, are these the...
They seem to be pretty...
Let's go in...
Just be careful.
This place has also been contaminated by...
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous, and it won't be any help. Don't get by my wrong.
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. That complicates things.
In that case, do you...
The water levels here are unstable. I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit.
All right. Come with... Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Wait, there's something wrong with this bridge!
Navia!
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself?
Maybe she just wants some...
Yes,
That's quite possible. However, you were...
Oh. It must have slipped my mind when I This is a familiar feeling.
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. I was just trying to recall...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help.
We were headed to see how things...
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have...
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't the one. They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor opened.
Sometimes force is required.
That's right.
Oh, yes. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have done without your...
Did you cultivate them yourself?
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs...
Very well.
Wait. Excuse me, madam. If I...
That's right.
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met. I've heard this name before. And why are there so few people around here? Where did everyone go?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle. We still have important things to attend to today.
We do...
Well, now,
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please,
My trial?
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about...
Oh?
Look, it's Navia. She's here.
and her two attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. And as for the judge... huh?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry.
All right. But...
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on. Do they have any idea?
Enough with the whispering!
My dear Miss Navia, have you... As all here know, you Our master, after you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late master. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates.
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that, we are one big family. All of us who are from Poisson. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you...
Huh? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed...
Oh, well, if...
How wonderful! I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's...
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to...
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's good...
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied...
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of... Please do not mistake her...
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This, even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul... Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. And in the end, everyone shall... Now, I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay. We...
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. Have you forgotten how much you all want?
Do you mean to defy our...
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge...
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver and that.
My head...
Demoiselle!
Silver, it hurts. I remember now. Everything that seemed Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid. And don't admit...
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? Don't let them escape!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying? No more excuses.
She says we're jealous. Jealous? Huh. How could she possibly be?
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us.
Miss Navia.
Silence!
That's... Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you... The court will adjourn for the rest of the day.
Our thanks, monsieur.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to...
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that...
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come...
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all...
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within. I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment. Perhaps were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to
Wait! Did you say Oceanids?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people...
I always told them that they didn't have to
Please come with me. Oh, I am quite all.
Why do you look so stiff out? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type.
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then?
I suppose. Ah, Sigewin. I hope all is well with her these.
No way. Don't worry. She's doing.
I see. Well, that is good. I have always.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewin made him do.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. So, Neverlet. This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatu. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the nave. We had a chat.
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents.
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neverlet?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
Alright! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then! Have fun with this gift! Teamwork is dreamwork!
Disappear! Here! Here! Worthless! Worthless!
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step! Watch out! There are rocks falling over here! Odds revealed! Too late for regrets! Everybody stand back! We'll see about that!
Worthless! Lament! Here! Worthless!
Adventure time.
Seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
By royal decree.
Too late for regrets! We'll see about that! Truth repeats its course!
Let's light it up. I'm going in.
For it! Evil conquering! Here! Here!
we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden space.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were...
Perhaps we should just leave them be for...
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates.
The surrounding walls also.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that...
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch...
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image?
And is that a ring of people...
The 4th image. I know...
The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And only the... More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at these slates. This says that it's the history of the future, right? Still, Paimon feels like these...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the 3rd, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person...
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here, the previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the...
Did she herself commit that sin? And also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their...
But who would have created...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from...
In that case, there's no time to lose.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening.
You still...
Just head back to the...
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my...
Are you really gonna talk to her?
She has long been harboring secrets, and will not give them up easily. Which makes it all the...
Alright,
I will be carefully...
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Flips... All right.
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a special
Yay! And there's good food too! Navi, Paimon's already starting to forget...
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. Oh.
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass.
Still, we didn't expect to see you.
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because... Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her there was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now. Nope. Although it is used by us in place of...
Wow! even including a boast in your name. Wait, are you...
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegist.
Whoa, that's a long one.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is in...
Thrice as great? That's so...
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself
Talk about upset.
Megistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't...
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontaine...
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents...
Oh, that's a good thing then.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take... The invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone...
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist. Your word would go...
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns the fate of Fontaine, even that of Ultivat. I'm afraid that, but on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come from a powerful visionary. Its contents involve the fate of the world. Disregarding it would be a mistake.
A visionary? Sounds really powerful and all, but does such a person really exist?
Of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar. Huh? Are you sure? All right, I'll help you. It isn't often that I see you with such a serious look on your face. I'll tell you once I hear back from her.
Thanks, Mona. You're amazing as always.
Oh, well, this is something only I can do after all. So yes, your praises are quite welcome.
That's the greatest of astrologists for you, of all the people we know.
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's...
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us a... Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help. Good morning. To be honest, I'm still feeling kind of sleepy. But it's time to get up, traveler. We agreed to go see
Useless. You're here.
It's
Monsieur Neurvalette and Lady Farina. They seem to have gotten...
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, look at this. This...
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. I will say this once more. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruin.
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't... But you found them...
That's correct. Which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates. The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have...
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but there are several indications that you have been This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Arch. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be.
Well, since you know about my secret investigation, there's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. That's all I have to say. We do not... Oh!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling.
I assume you've been outside.
Oh! You know...
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion... Still, I do not understand. Dialogue. Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some... We may have to create a situation...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's real...
We will need to consider this thoroughly. Join forces with If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse my... This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. But who will...
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what families should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me?
Then, how about you?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as...
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded.
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be...
Oh? How...
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just...
Huh?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to...
I see. And what...
He is glad that you consider him your boss.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger.
I've also gone...
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various today. Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society. Taking up arms in a trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. So, if we were to build a trap together...
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so...
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates...
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more
Calm and steady.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some... I remember that you liked those...
I did. And that would be a good way to go about.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have.
That makes sense. You usually solve, but I do have one more question for you. If we were to create a trap now, how would you
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no.
Kind, as always. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for.
Wait, what?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it.
So.
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god.
Oh, so...
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? Paimon didn't think that. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any After all, you're the most reliable person. Did you just pour some tea? Paimon's never seen that.
Don't be frightened. I'm just. Aw, have you.
Wait. You are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, I fear that. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple, the prophecy. Yes,
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything into that, so... So just as prophecies are usually only the future, as seen from the perspective, are the things that you shall see
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality.
The voice. Hey, it's you who's getting late.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively band.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I assume you've heard of her, no? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hex and Zirkel sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live so long.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so... Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon, are you two all right?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for, and believe in, miracles. Astrology is... Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even...
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. It was worth trying to comfort you. I suppose that might be why we always...
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to...
Boring!
Huh? Our names are written in this... Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued my recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blind... So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery, but journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet. Huh. Charlotte took so many... She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find... Ugh, seriously? What? We're here! Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it!
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems me.
Wait!
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I should...
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be...
But why would it...
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't... No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat...
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have these 2 slices are for you? Sijuin said that this kind of expression...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born... She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. I've got something else to do, so...
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. It's more delicious than last time. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious. Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Oh, ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Oh, you're the best!
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
A friend of ours met you a while back, and when she mentioned it, we thought of coming to see you. Her name's Mona.
Ah, so you know me. So she mentioned me?
She said that you're...
Nice.
Huh? So your article in the...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography.
Yeah.
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you...
Oh.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If... just for...
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it all. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still... From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that... I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a... But anyway...
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat, that would be just... No, Paimon should ask if... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent... You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, is... Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Meropide, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillat sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide. at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good. Monsieur Neuvillette sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything else.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care. I'll be heading back to the Palais now.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Neuvillette was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling. Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but in that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we come! This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Ah, that's Farina, right over there.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. Give up. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Other than... Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's... Farina, you were
what do you mean, tear stain? Who did that? They even dared. Oh, and I'm sure Neuvillette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are?
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! can't be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick!
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine, fine. I suppose haste is... No! I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer
Yep.
What's happening? The ground...
Yeah. A quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, did it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I once had informants all over Tevat. I've tried all kinds of ways, but all my efforts proved to be futile. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will give up. Indeed. I've thought about fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? But just now, it all became clear. As long as the final moment, don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the Don't take any of what I just said serious.
Come on!
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this... A witness. Yes, I've heard... And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show...
Ladies and gentlemen, this can now, without further...
So, this is... Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of...
May I interpret these words? As your... In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through...
You withdraw your... I see. It seems like you have made a...
Paimon can't believe it. She...
What the heck is going on?
Wow. Oh.
Lady Farina.
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuse?
I raised my hands just now to I will admit. I'm sorry, everyone. You are not the only ones. But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and rejoice. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine!
Woohoo! Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then. Who...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Also, please allow me to ask, just how much work did you do?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula.
Navia, the president.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that... So, we arranged...
So, you mean...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box.
That's right. That house was a magic...
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an Archon. My thanks, Farina. Without your... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a ton...
So, in other words, the earthquake that...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, all so that as soon as I appear...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your... As for you, Traveler, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd... Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this...
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's... Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means that... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offense. Of course, it is only natural for human...
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsake...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina. Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina...
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon. See? Even if you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh?
Well, and if I was not the Archon...
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink...
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was no...
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina. Well, it is true that it's extremely...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human... For centuries, manifestation... One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique de...
That doesn't... You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your... While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law, you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue...
I never thought...
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty. Instead of having been created by you, the manifest...
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict. You can't argue that...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derived, thus did I give up all of my divine power to...
Isn't that a huge
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's
Hey, come now, everyone! I'm still the same Farina, please.
If what the prosecutor said is true...
Did she deceive all of us?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence...
Wow, she came up with... It has been established that all Fontanians can...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can...
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone, including those... So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, I do hope you'll act prudently.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refused...
She's just staring at the water without saying...
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test...
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, Will you believe...
Miss Siegewing? If you're present, Miss Siegewing.
Siege, don't be nervous. That should be...
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans.
Thank you, Miss Siegewing. Lady...
Oh, wait. What did she just say?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not... We don't want anyone else to lose her.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low... It's a great thing that the direct sample...
I can't...
Listen to me! Listen to me, everyone! Think about it! Also, if I was... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon just...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique de Nat... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique de Nali...
Well, what's wrong? What's the art...
No, the Oratrice also displays...
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. To be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been...
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its is this sentence really appropriate?
Yeah! Even Fache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind...
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, but now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial...
Fremine! Huh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigned...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. Would like...
Huh? So what do you see?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her? So when you say Hydro Archon, do you...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this, however, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the... Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, the second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon. Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that and the first stone slate tells us that long ago this might be the reason that perhaps what is about to take place has all the true sin of the Hydro and the original sin cast down on the It's not as simple as falling into. When Navia fell into the sea, the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro. The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into the fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial sea if we hadn't dealt with it in time.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the sea. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the stone slate's content can all be verified by recent events. If we... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to...
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the lake. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia. That could also explain why the Oratries judged
The Hydro Archon's truce.
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the water. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already met. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been... When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher... believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriate. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would... Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race, and thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death?
This really might be too much information for your
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are a key point of the visual on the third slate is how they have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in the nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience when she fell into the sea. Therefore, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the... Yes,
I think I'm following now. So, in truth, everything we've done has happened
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what.
If that's the case, does that mean the sea...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that...
The truth, the original sin, the trial.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case...
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, from the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could...
That's not We've already done everything We've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how...
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, ultimately, fate shall serve as...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
Sorry. That shocked expression on...
You are not Farina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my...
Fusolo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the... She knew full well that the and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heaven... So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I had to outwit the heavenly principles. Allow the prophecy to... I'm a genius, I know. I can only... Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain. Her strengths were of a kind only a But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human. Anyway, all part of the plan, of course. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house. I suppose now you probably understand why.
But Farina is only even though she has had a long life, her mind is... I cannot begin to
It has indeed. And although it's been and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, all right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must act. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough. Gears of the storm! Odds repeat, teamwork is dreamwork! Let's lament! Here! Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Huh? By royal decree, dare to mess with me? I'm going in! Let's light it for it!
me?
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How?
Mirror you, huh?
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy.
What prophecy? Wait. The people will all be dissolved into the water.
Oh.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that is why.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings, I will tell you how to save everyone, but...
Oh, so there... As for the suffering, but if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine...
I suppose this would also be...
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine...
Play as... a god?
That's right. You must begin. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying.
But how will I do?
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself, being a human yourself. I'm sure you all remember. Your true challenge will not be...
I'm still not sure. So, how...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage, but I promise you...
A trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear... I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro... In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, once again, thank you all for coming. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay, and next.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just...
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone so... Right. Mirmi said that I calm down, Farina. Think assertive, with a strong sense of presence. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. You may consider my previous act a door gift. Now then!
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before. Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of it. May law be the prayer on our lips,
May judgment be our worship. There is no trouble in this world that just so long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the opera epic.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as a.
Come now. Was I not just at the Besides, none of these trials were
If I may be so
a magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial.
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp.
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank... All right. Deuteria, is it?
He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more.
Oh, good. Very good.
You're such a gentle...
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, all manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to...
well, as I understand it,
Really?
I'm afraid that they haven't found it.
Oh, is that so? Well... The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting... Maybe this is fine. All right.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the
There'll be no need for...
Lady Farina,
Indeed, my dear, loyal...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I feel utterly...
Lady Farina, I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive it... Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the...
No wonder. No wonder. A manifesting...
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined have I reached my limit. I want to tell someone, and I've conducted so many
Farina. You don't have to although I don't know what you might be keeping from it.
Share. That's impossible.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with me.
A witness. Yes, and if Tevat is... He's right. I could, but if things don't play out... No, Farina. You shouldn't be selfish. But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? If you let this opportunity think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principle, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the people?
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human... It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem... Alas, your understanding of this... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill. Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine... I mean, did you think my work over these last 500 years? But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to... The vast majority has been... had to be.
It was all part of your plan.
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to... Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more. Oh.
All you've done throughout the years is just...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge that Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly principle, I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not, speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice... So, if the theft of the primordial seas... Then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the... In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and defying the prophecy and ensuring that at this point, whether it Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea at last. I now understand the true purpose behind. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually... You are a devious one, Fussalor. Things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment.
Didn't you say just a...
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our core traveler. Now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor at the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that had come with me, traveler. Done my best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the whale. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. A shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility. The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Disappear! Worthless! Worthless!
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within.
Off we go! Adventure time!
We'll see about that. Oz reveal.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Hyman has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using... so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think...
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sir Taloji.
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe...
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir, then?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They are both—
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright? We're saved.
The prophecy was wrong.
a shield over the People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find out... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and...
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction.
Paimon's curious too! Wait...
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news if you have...
are you sure?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head...